one of the biggest hacks I can give you for a younger person, which is that once you have a direct debit, as long as you're not going into debt and you're not in a position where, if you have it automated on the day of your pay, you need to pay yourself first. That's one of the key things to do. So if you have a direct debit going out for an amount that you can reasonably save on the point you get paid, you wouldn't believe how quickly you adapt to that money going out. It just becomes an automated thing. So automate, that's absolutely crucial. I don't like it as a long-term strategy unless that's your bag, unless you're just one of those people that love the frugal stuff, because you only cut to an extent. And where I think you start getting into a position of is you get into a position where you're compromising on the quality of life. And again, that's sort of, you're not living for today as much, and that's not ideal, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see the power of automation, it's every business on the planet wants you to set up a direct debit with them, because they know the chances of you cancelling once you have that in place are very low.
Correct.
So use that to your
Just do this.
heuristics, the psychological bias of once it's in place, you probably won't cancel it.
Well, what you just said there is actually really important that I want to kind of focus on, is that what's happening, you have the smartest people in the world that are doing everything they can to make sure that you don't save, invest for your future. That's the truth. They're flooding with Instagram, TikTok, and all the rest of it. How can we use human behavior to our advantage so we make good decisions? So whether that's automating, I'm a big fan of Roundup apps. I can't give you any recommendations because that's me getting into murky water, but I use Roundup apps where you just basically, how can you trick yourself, so to speak, to practice good financial habits?
Chase, Monzo, there's a few, Moneybox, I think. We can say it because we're unregulated. But yeah, they have these Roundup features. So basically when you spend £5.98, 2p goes into a little savings.
Anything you can to kind of do that thing. That's where, going back to the thing I said at the start, if I could tell a 23-year-old to do anything, it's let's get your financial habits done. It doesn't matter if it's a tenner. Let's just get them in place, because it's like it's like health habits. It compounds over time, and we can improve the practice over time as well.
So these are like psychological nudges, you might call them as well. When auto-enrollment was introduced, the pension scheme, which is the biggest nudge towards a financial habit probably the UK's ever done, they thought that maybe 20 to 30% of people would opt out, because they basically said, before it was like, do you want the pension? Most people were like, nah, can't be bothered. Okay, we're going to put you in the pension and you then have to say if you don't want to be in it. That's the shift. Only 10% of people opt out. So the nudge, the automation was even more successful than the experts thought it would be.
100%. And that's kind of going back to that kind of like buy time example. It's all a mental game. Everything is, but especially with your money. So how can we improve that?
Next.
This clip was from an interview with George Agan, financial advisor, all about how to build wealth. For the full interview, click here.